So here we have it, the man of the hour. He is the real E from Entourage, and he grew up in the UCLA area, but not in Los Angeles, in New York City, and he will definitely explain what UCLA means in New York City. Please
Hey, what's
welcome
up, Eddie? How you doing?
the
Hey, Eddie, how you doing,
legendary
bro?
Eric Weinstein in the house, baby. Are we delayed or no? Talk to me.
We're good, man. We're great, you know? Just so people understand when I say UCLA, yeah, I went to UCLA. That's University on the corner of Lenox Avenue. I didn't go, growing up in New York, and so when I was young, school wasn't like, school didn't teach you nothing. You learned more on the streets of New York than you learned anywhere else. And I've carried that with me my whole life. And growing, the streets were mean, but if you knew how to navigate them, you were cool and you got away with everything, anything. And, you survive. You become a survivor no matter what.
Exactly. So, speaking of surviving, Eric, I want you to open up to me. In your past, you really had a bad past. You were addicted to drugs. How did that start? What happened?
Uh, you know, 1966, the 60s were kind of wild in New York. I was born in 1954. In the 60s, when everything started happening, the whole thing of people, sex and drugs and rock and roll, I was like right in the middle. I wanted to be right in the middle. When we knew, there were, great rock stars were getting high, Jimi Hendrix was getting high, this one, that one, and you wanted to be like them, you wanted to think like them, you wanted to be able to create like them. So, 12 years old, 11 years old in junior high school, 143 back in the Bronx, the guys were walking around selling $2 bags. They called them deuces. They'd walk through the hallways of school, smoking deuces, smoking deuces. I got the smoking deuces, and for $2, you got a bag of heroin that kept you high all day. But you didn't realize that after doing it for 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks at a time, every single day, and that was just sniffing back then.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you had a habit. All of a sudden, you were like, woke up one morning and go, oh shit, I don't feel good. What's that? Oh man, I need some drugs. And you go to school, you get some, and then all of a sudden you do it and you don't have no money. So you have to, how easy it was to grub up $2 in school. Yo, let me 50 cents for a bus pass. Yo, let me a quarter. Yo, let me 50 cents. Let me 75. Yo, you got $1 I could borrow? And you did that and it worked. So I started in 1966, and one day I was nodding on the corner of 236th Street and Kingsbridge Avenue. And there were all kinds of people. I'd gotten high. I sat down. I started nodding. Next thing I know, the police are taking my ass away, for loitering, for the intent. All the straight kids called on all the kids that were getting high, and they arrested all of us. They threw me in jail and said, hey, officer, by the way, you got a kid here who's 15 years old. I was 15. It was 1969. And that's all of a sudden now they got tracks. I had tracks on my arms. I just started shooting up. I started first, I skin popped once. And I was like, if you're going to skin pop it, you might as well mainline it.
Right, right.
So then I started getting high and getting high and getting high. Got busted, but nothing happened. They threw it out, because it was illegal, whatever it was. And I don't even have a record for it. And that's where the journey started. And then I tried to stay clean. I stayed clean for a little while because in '69 when I got popped, they threw me in Odyssey House over on Bruckner Boulevard in the Bronx. I stayed there for a while. I was good till I couldn't deal with change too much. My mom was the best mom in the world. Unfortunately, my dad had died when I was 8 months old. Never had a man around the house, you know. And my uncles tried, but they couldn't do what a real father was supposed to do. So I went on a run. I went on a run, and I got high from then till 1984. I stopped for a little bit here and there, but 1984 I really cleaned up. After being on methadone 10 years, after being, just 5 overdoses, almost dying a few times, I said I had enough. And once I said I had enough, that was it. I walked into this program called Sukasa on the Lower East Side by Gouverneur Slip. I walked in there homeless, and I walked out there when I left. I was a supervisor.
Oh. Eric, did your mother give up on you back then too? Like threw you out of the
No, she
house?
never gave up. No, she never gave up on me. Never. Unfortunately, she passed away in 1981, and then there wasn't enough drugs in the world to kill that pain, because she had rheumatic fever as a child, and when she was born in 1924, these things kind of damaged the valves for her heart. They didn't have the medicine they have today. Like my dad died of a seizure. He was in a we had bought a building in Queens, right on Broadway by where the train stops. We had a 6-room apartment upstairs. They were going to make a stationery store downstairs. That was going to be our house. That was going to be our living. That was going to be our business.
Wow.
And my father also played saxophone, clarinet, piano, played with the Dorsey brothers, Benny Goodman, Louis Prima. He was a real talent. And he was there, and he was in the Korean War, and he got blown off the back of a truck, developed epilepsy. He was there, he had a seizure, boom, fell forward into a pillow and suffocated. That was April of 1955, and I was born of August 1954, so you're talking I was 8 months old,
Holy
and he
shit.
was gone. And my mother was so heartbroken. She never remarried. I think she went on one date that I can remember as a kid. All she cared about was taking care of me and my brother. That's it. You know.
Was your
She never gave
brother
up. She hated that I used drugs. She thought it was her fault. But I kept telling Ma, it's not your fault. It's me. It's the times. It's the world. It's what's going on here. It's the war. It's the people that are hanging out. I wanted to be part of something. You want to be part of this. You want to be part of that. And all the stray kids, they would be like really mean. Kids are really mean, and especially when it comes to, if you don't have a father, and like they're going to a father and something, oh, you can't come, you don't have a father. It's really kind of mean, and it really so all of a sudden then you gravitate towards kids that are just like you that don't have parents. Parents are divorced. They're getting high. They're smoking cigarettes. They're doing this, and all of a sudden they accept you like you're one of their own. So that's where I went, and that's what happened.
But you know what's crazy with me? My father left me when I was 4. I don't know where he's at, but it was great that other parents, because I played baseball, little league, and throughout the years, and high school, and traveling, and college, and those parents took me in. They would call my mom and say, "Hey, we got Eddie. Don't worry about it," because my mom had to work. So it's a great feeling that they accepted me without a dad, but they just liked me a lot, man. Like, yo, just entertain us, make us laugh, man. That's it.
Right, right. It's like other kids that don't have fathers gravitate to other kids that don't have fathers, and ones do. Imagine they going to a father and son picnic, for this and for that, and they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't come. You don't have a father." And you're like, "Huh? I can't come? Really?" I mean, it happened a few times. Kids are really mean. Oh, what happened to your father? I punch a kid in the face. He say something like that, and I
Right.
get in trouble. I got in trouble. And eventually I just stopped paying attention to him. And I started growing my hair long, got into music, played guitar, played in the band. Weed back then was nothing.
Right.
So it wasn't like if they had weed like they had today back in 1966, no one used any other drugs.
Right.
The weed back then was dirt. So you all automatically you were looking for something more. I mean, we did a lot of acid. You think about listening to Jimi Hendrix, listening to the Doors, listening to the Beatles, Sergeant Pepper's, Magical Mystery. I mean, the Rolling Stones, all these bands, and they were all tripping out. So you wanted to trip out too, and we did it. And then it went
So,
on and on.
so Eric, at what age did you say, "Fuck it, I'm done"? What was it? What was the age? Like, no
The
more.
age I finally said I was done, it was 1984. So I was just turning 30, right before I turned 30.
So you
But
had
I
control.
had stopped for a while, and I started getting my stuff together. I started working in 71. I worked for a clothing store, an amazing clothing store called Granny Takes a Trip on 62nd Street on the east side. And they sold clothes to all the rock stars. They had the coolest clothes in New York. The coolest. I mean, like high heel shoes for men, snakeskin, patchwork leather. Every rock star and their mother came in to buy clothes there. And I went there as a kid. They needed someone to work. I took a job. I think I made $75 a week. Right.
But you worked.
And I worked. I was working though. I opened the store. They got me free lunch. All the rock stars are coming in. I'm in heaven.
But
I'm
so
in
Eric, did,
heaven.
the, did these rock stars like you and take you in? Like, hey, listen, come work with us.
Well, one did. You know, it was Alice Cooper group. Michael Bruce, the guitar player, he
Mhm.
came in. He goes, "What are you doing?" I goes, well, "I'm helping him get some clothes." I did that. He goes, "Well, why don't you come to the show tonight?" And, you know, they were playing, I think, in Paramus, New Jersey, at the old Capitol Theater. No, the Capitol Theater in Passaic. I went there. They said, "Well, why don't you come back to our house in Greenwich, Connecticut, and come? We're gonna have a little party." I went there. The roadies were unloading a truck. And I'm kind of 17. I'm kind of big. I'm strong. And I see that guy. Hey, you guys need some help? I jump in the back of the truck. I help them unload the truck. They say, "Hey, you want a job? You want to come? We need some more help here. You want to help us get this tour together?" And they were getting ready to do the $1 Billion Babies tour. And I said, "Sure." And that was it.
And just
And
like
once I
that.
worked just like that, worked for them. I mean, I didn't really go on the road with them, but from them, I managed to bamboozle my way to work for Kiss.
Yeah.
I met one of Kiss's roadies called Moose, and I told him, "Yeah, I know about this, I know about that, I know about this." He said, "Come on." He introduced me to the road manager. Next thing I know, I'm on the road with Kiss, and they're opening up for Aerosmith, and I'm doing their special effects. I'm unloading, loading trucks. I'm setting the pyro up. I'm getting the drum riser to go up in the air. I'm taking care of guitars. I'm humping equipment. That was a lot of money back then, $125 a week, plus $10 a day per diem.
Holy shit. So let me ask you this. Their parties, was it like off the hook?
No, their parties were all for them. You come into the hotel after you're working and you see a line outside of Paul and Gene's room of women just waiting to get in and have their shot with them. And Ace would have his thing, and Peter was married, so he was cool. But they were like, they had groupies, and they
Yeah,
used every one of them.
but Eric, but hold on a minute. But like, let's say there's a whole bunch, right? Would you say, hey, I'm the roadie. You can hang with me if you want,
Absolutely. Oh yeah,
right?
I took the leftovers. Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely. I can't.
were they like,
Absolutely.
will I ever get a chance to meet him?
Well, you know what? If you hang out with me, you never know.
Right,
You got to take
right,
care of me, and then I'll take care of you.
right, right. I mean, you're young. Why not, right?
Yeah, although that happened all the time. You always got the leftover. Hey, can I get a backstage pass? You can, but and the girls go, "Okay, I got you." And some of them were really nice people, really good people. It was just the age. It was just what's going on in the world. You got to remember, there was no internet. There
Right,
was no cell phones. There were no pages. There's no Facebook, no Twitter, no this, nothing. So people
right.
didn't give a shit what they did. They weren't getting caught. They weren't gonna. No one's gonna find out. It was
But
amazing.
but Eric, you also work at a music store too when you were a kid, right?
I worked at a no. I didn't work in a music store. I worked at as a roadie in rock and roll bands. I never worked in a music store. No,
Oh,
no, I didn't
okay,
work in
okay.
music. I used to go all the time to Manny's, 48th Street, New
Yeah, the
York.
Manny's music store. That's where I thought you were working. That's why.
No, Manny's, Sam Ash, Music Makers, all of them down there. I used to go there once a week just to look in the windows. And, I
Mm,
bought my first guitar down there, bought my first amp down there. It was just, that was a magical block. And you never know who you're going to run into. You jump on the train, get off 50th Street, say in the front car, you're 48th, boom. And then you go to Papaya King on the corner.
Oh, those hot dogs are good, huh? How much were they back then with the hot dog and the soda?
A quarter, I think. Or two
Wow,
for a
two
quarter.
two hot dogs and a soda for a quarter, right?
Yeah, two. No, the hot soda was extra. The soda might have been 50 cents.
Yeah, I remember those days,
It was
man.
amazing back then. It really was. But
Yeah.
that was life. That was life without any internet, without any Wi-Fi, without any, someone watching, everyone watching you what you're doing, every move, everything you say. There was so much more freedom. You could have a cigar in the street. You could sit in the fucking movie theater and have a cigar or a cigarette. You could sit on a plane. I remember in the plane, I didn't smoke cigars back then. I smoked cigarettes. You could smoke cigarettes on a plane, but you weren't allowed to smoke a cigar on a plane. It was funny.
Right.
Life
And
was different, man.
it is different. I mean, you definitely you live in both generations right now. Why is number 18 so important to you?
18. I was born on the 18th day,
Hmm.
and in the Jewish religion, 18 is the number that equates with life. It's called a chai, and
Okay.
18 is life. So 18 is my number. I love it. I'm 18. I just,
So if there was a
of course, I was born on the 18th day.
right.
That's basically why.
So
But Andre Robinson was number 18. There was another great Yankee Andre Robinson was a great shortstop. I don't know if you remember him.
I don't
He
remember.
got hurt in a car crash on the Upper West Side in the 80s. He was an amazing shortstop, though, for the Yankees, and that was the end of his career. Driving home late at night, 100 miles an hour in some sports car, boom, done. He didn't die, but his career was over, you know?
Eric,
There's a couple other guys wearing number 18 that I liked.
Eric. So let me ask you this: so if there was a celebrity softball game and Darryl Strawberry's there, and you're part of this, on the team, are you gonna fight for him? Fight with him for number 18?
Maybe not.
But out of his heart, he'll probably say, "You know what? Yeah, you could have my number. Don't worry about it."
He might say that, but I'd rather pitch softball. I'd rather pitch against him.
You rather pitch
I love.
against him?
I was a big softball player. I had always been in the softball league, but a modified fast pitch league, not where you went around all the way around, but you from as far back as you can go and throw. I had a mean curveball. I had a mean curveball.
So your shit bit?
Oh yeah, I can. Huh?
Your shit bit? Your ball moved?
Oh, my ball moved. Forget about it.
Wow. Holy.
My underarm throw, man. Look out.
Oh
I
shit! All
love
right.
playing softball. I couldn't play baseball because I think I was 11 or 12 years old. I was playing my first ever tackle football game, and we were in Van Cortlandt Park. That same field they had in the movie The Wanderers.
Mm-hmm.
That was my home field. You ever see the movie The Wanderers? You never saw The Wanderers?
You know what, Eric? I'm so bad with names. I think I did. What was it about? And I'll tell you if I did.
It's about gangs in the Bronx. The Wanderers, the Golden Guineas, the Wongs, the this, the that's a great
Was it
movie
was it
written by
related? What is it? The
Richard
independent film?
Price. No, well, I don't know if it was or not. It was a great movie. If you didn't see it, you should definitely watch it.
All right, I'll
Anyway,
definitely do that.
there's a scene at the end where they're playing football against the Italians against the blacks,
Right.
and all of a sudden the Ducky Boys show up. The Ducky Boys were from like over by Fordham Road, Grand Concourse, Jerome Avenue. They were all crazy young guys that would attack you for no reason, whip your ass, steal from you, do whatever. If just for stepping foot in their neighborhood, they would
Wow.
get you. That's all. They would chase us. Oh my God, they were really, and they all showed up because they weren't invited to the game and decided they were going to beat the shit out of everybody. And it was the Wanderers and all these guys against the Ducky Boys. And that was my home field, for playing football. So I'm playing football. I go forward. Two guys hit me at the same time. Both of my shoulders got dislocated. And there was the end of my throwing arm. I had a great arm.
So Eric,
Gone.
you could have pitched with a baseball. You could have a lot of speed, huh?
I did. I did. Little League, I pitched and I was a pitcher and a catcher because I could throw somebody out at second base.
Oh, so you enjoyed the defense of the game, huh?
I love the defense of the game, more important than the offense. I always, I look at like this kid Cabrera, the way he plays defense. I look at this kid, that plays Harrison Bader. He's from Bronxville, New York,
Yeah, yeah.
actually.
I text you that. I said,
Yeah.
"Yo, this kid's from Bronxville. Remember?"
Yeah. He's a really, really good ball player, I really think he's going to be something for the Yankees. He went
Yeah,
to Horace Mann,
yeah.
you know?
I played against
It's
Horace,
amazing. You
man.
don't see too many kids.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So now you became I guess what do you call it, on the Lower East Side when you started that
I
job?
worked as a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
After when I cleaned up, it was like I said, you know what? They did something good for me. Let me give back. I think giving back is so important. Give back to the community, give back to other people. You can't have the desire to receive for self alone.
Right.
You have to want to give. You have to want to give something back. So I went to work for the program. I was a counselor. I helped so many people. I ran groups. And for some reason, it came really natural to me. I didn't go to school for it. I didn't have a degree in psychology. But I had a great counselor. His name is Jose Fanares. from Puerto Rico, and he taught me so much that it just was something that got really instilled in me. And I just became a counselor, worked in the program, forgot about all the rock and roll, forgot about entertainment, and my focus was just helping other people. And I stayed there for 8 years, working until my first movie I did. I got a phone call late at night. I was there because I counseled the clients that were workers, so they didn't get back into the facility till after 6, 7 o'clock. So I would stay there till 8, 9 o'clock. I'd come in certain days later, and I'd work later. So I get a phone call. Hey, we have this kid. We want him for this movie called Basketball Diaries, and he doesn't know how to act like a heroin addict. I said, send him to me. I knew Jim Carroll. I had gotten high with Jim Carroll because when I worked for Patti Smith, he, him and Patty were really good friends. And Alan Lanier, may he rest in peace, were good friends. So I knew Jim really well. I knew the story. I knew everything about it. The kid was Jimmy Matteo. You know Jimmy Matteo.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine right there. There he is. You see the picture?
Yeah, Jimmy Matteo, yeah. He didn't know how to act like a heroin addict. He came to me Wednesday. He got the part Thursday. Thursday afternoon, I got a phone call. Hey, can you come meet us at 7 o'clock in the morning, production office? The director, Scott Calvert, may he rest in peace. Oh, my God. And Leonardo DiCaprio want to talk to you. It's Leonardo DiCaprio. I just saw his movie, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and I had seen This Boy's Life with De Niro. I'm like, wow, this kid's a really, really good actor. So I said, sure. They said, look, I get down there, I'm telling them about, I said, yeah, well, what should I do? I said, scratch your balls, scratch your balls. And they were loving it. And then I
But
got
Eric,
the
why'd you
job.
tell him that? Scratch your balls. Do heroin addicts do that?
Yeah, because the heroin is cut with quinine.
Mm-hmm.
You never get pure heroin. And the quinine makes you very itchy all over.
Okay,
That's,
now I get it.
yeah. So
And
I told
then,
him that.
but did you? What was the weakness that you saw in Matteo? Like, what'd you say? No. You got to do it this way. Like, what was the adjustment that you had to give him?
No, it wasn't. There was no weakness. It was no. He never had any weakness. It was just about knowledge.
Right.
He just didn't know. He never had any experience hanging out with any heroin addicts. He had no idea what they did. He had no idea what they looked like. So I
Right.
just I gave him a run through. I gave him a rundown. When after what happens before a heroin addict gets high. What happens as soon as they put the needle in their arm? What happens here? What happens?
All right. Hold
I
on.
didn't
So
have to.
break it down to me. What happens before? Go ahead. Talk to me about that.
Before you're like really nervous.
Okay.
You might be shaking. You might just be feeling really bad because you're sick, or you might be feeling like really anxious. Like, oh my God, I gotta put this, the heroin in the spoon. I gotta add water. I gotta heat it up. I gotta make sure the cotton. I gotta make sure the needle's clean. You pull it out. Then you gotta tie up, and you gotta make sure you hit a vein, and you don't want to miss. If you miss the vein, you get an abscess. Blah blah blah. It's messed up. So all these things are going through your head. And if you actually think about it, heroin addicts are not stupid. They're dumb when it comes to taking care of their own life, but they're really not stupid people. To be able to do that, I was doing that at 13 years old. How did I know to learn? I mean, I learned it, I watched it, I saw other people doing it, but all of a sudden, here I am doing what a doctor does. Here I am, and if I didn't have any money, I would, hang out in the shooting gallery, and they would say, hey, I can't get a hit. You hit me? I say, I hit you. You got to give me some drugs, as a fee. So it's like a heroin act in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they put it in, and it's euphoric. You get this rush, you get this warmth that goes over your whole body, and if you had any pains in your body, it's gone. If you
Really?
had a problem with your stomach, it's gone.
So how long is the high
Every
for?
well, sometimes less 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. You know,
Eric, so let me ask you this, because I had to play a heroin addict in my acting school. What is it? How they just slump, but they just have their food and drink, and they're still holding on to it. That's the thing I don't
that's
understand.
called the nod.
The
They're
nod.
on the nod. That's called the nod. You're going all of a sudden, you're just going, but you're trying to fight it because that's part of the high. You're fighting the nod. You're going down. You got a cigarette in your hand.
Right.
You're trying to smoke. You're trying to this, and you're just going, and then all of a sudden you bounce back.
And then they go into that stage again, right?
Yeah, they're going to that stage all the time. That means they got a great high. That's like
Okay.
that's the high they want, you know.
So after that high, once it's over after 3 hours, Eric, are you thinking, fuck, I need another one? I need another hit?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes it'll stay in your body though for 24 hours, so you don't need to really get high again. You won't, as long as you're not sick, you're okay. Once you start feeling, you can't sleep, your stomach starts rumbling, you start yawning, you get really uncomfortable, you get really body aches, then you go, oh shit, I need another shot. I need to get high again, or find something that's going to replace it. But you'll be okay. You could be okay for 24 hours.
Right. But then when
But it's
money's
not,
running, but Eric, when money's running
money,
out,
yeah.
money's running out, then they start robbing people, right? Or robbing or
Then they
doing
start
something.
robbing people. Or what they do is like I did, was all the white kids would be scared to go to Harlem to get drugs. And I wasn't. I had no problem going to Harlem. I had no problem going to the projects and copping. And the other kids, they'd be scared. So I'd say, you want me to, I cop for you, but you got to pay me.
Right.
You got to buy me some drugs. You got to take care of me. I'm not doing it for nothing. So that's what would happen.
Eric, so remember the film with Denzel Washington and he played that heroin king in the 70s?
Oh, yeah, when he played, whatchamacallit, from Harlem. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
You think that
That's a
that
true
heroin was
story.
from them?
Oh, no, I definitely had heroin from him. There was a bag that we used to buy on 149th Street or 139th Street in this building. It was called Double Green. It was the best heroin in New York. Every heroin had names. It was funny. You know where you're buying, they only sold it from 7 in the morning till 10 in the morning. You came up, you walked up to this abandoned building. There's a guy waiting at the thing. You give him your money, you're gone, and you were protected because they didn't want to mess. They didn't know. They didn't want nobody messing with their customers.
Right.
So I always made sure I could do that. I buy the heroin. I made sure I had money to buy a brand new set of works. You go around the corner to the bodega, and the guy's selling needles for $1.
Hmm.
And I always made sure I had money to get back on the train or get back or jump in a cab, a gypsy cab for $5 back then.
Holy shit. Damn, Eric. Wow. So now with
That's what I'm
basketball.
saying. Heroin addicts aren't stupid. They
Right.
weren't stupid. They were just using their brains for the wrong things.
Right. So in the movie Basketball Diaries, right? You helped out Leonardo. What did Leonardo go on the streets? I'm just imagining him going on the streets like, he dressed up differently, probably put on glasses. I mean, was he that guy?
He didn't put on no glasses. He didn't try to cover himself. He wore a hat.
Mm-hmm.
He used to wear his green army jacket. I'd take him at like Saturday morning at like 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, where all the methadone clinics were. I'd throw him out of the van, say, hang out there. See how many people come to you. Make them come to you like say, yo, what do you want? What are you looking for? And he'd be on the street like this. He smoked cigarettes, and he'd be like this, just smoking cigarettes, waiting for, and he did it. He understood it. And I took him to the program where I showed him where people were getting clean. I took him upstairs. I introduced him to people. And he was young back then, though.
So he had
He was
great
really
instincts
young.
back then to learn the characters, right?
Oh, he was really good when it came to becoming the character. He was really amazing at becoming the character. And I think that's what they're all. Mark, they're all great at that. That's
Right.
the whole idea about being an actor, being able to do the research, not being scared to do the research, not being scared to look bad, because when sometimes they say, when you're looking bad, you're looking good.
Yeah, yeah.
So Leo wasn't scared to go out there and research and find it, and then become it, and stay in that character. You know. He was really, really good. That was his first starring role. That was his first time he was number one on the call sheet. Before that, he was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape or This Boy's Life or even on this TV show. I don't think he was ever number one until then.
Right,
That was his
right.
first starring role. And, it could have been a great movie, but I think, they didn't have a lot of money. I think they made a movie for $4 million back then. It was a lot of shooting. And they didn't have they didn't get distribution. It took them a while to sell it. Chris Blackwell was the one who produced it, who paid for it from Island Records. Chris Blackwell, and it was just they might not have had everything they wanted. They needed, But Scott was, and it came from the world of being a music video director. That's how Mark got in, because Scott knew Mark. Scott directed all Mark's video, all of Donnie's videos, you know?
So that's Marky Mark right there back then. I know he don't like the name Marky Mark, but we're going back in the early '90s. So now with him, did you taught him too, right? Did you educate him
Yeah, he
too?
was on, yeah, he was also, uh, when, after I taught Leo, they wanted me to work with the rest of the cast to make sure everybody was on the same page. You don't want to bring different people in to show the same thing, so you want, continuity. And I worked with him, with Mark. Juliette Lewis was in it. Ernie Hudson was in that. Uh, what's his name? Who played the abusive school teacher? He passed away of cancer. I'm not remembering his name right now. He was in. He was a great actor. He was also in Godfather 1, Godfather 2.
Mm.
He was great, and there was, Ernie Hudson was great. He won because Ernie Hudson had to do the whole scene with him when Leo did the whole withdrawal. When he went through the withdrawals, that was a big deal. And what's her name from Sopranos?
Lorraine
Uh,
Bracco.
Elaine Brock. Yeah, she was in it. She played Leo's mom.
It was an
It was a
excellent
really
scene.
stellar cast.
Yeah, it was a really good cast. Now,
Right.
here's the thing, Eric. When you were on set, did you ever interrupt and say, "No, no, no, this high, you kind of faking it right there, didn't look believable"?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to interrupt. I would always wait till the end of a take, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to Scott. Maybe they should try doing this. Maybe you should do that. And he goes, Eric, you got the set. He called me E. He goes, E, you got the set. Go ahead, talk to him. So I'd go and talk to them, and they would listen. Because actors are funny. Once they're doing their thing, they don't want to be told that they're doing something wrong.
No.
Unless they don't want to be told. Actors are very funny people.
Right.
You got to be really careful with that. You don't want to piss them off. So I just, or I would help with the makeup artist. Let's say she was trying to make tracks on the guy's arm to make it look like, needle marks. I would help and no, raise it a little bit, do this, do that, make their face look a little bit like this, a little bit like that. The wardrobe, clothing, stuff like that. I would help out in any way I could to make it as real as possible.
Eric, that scene, were you there on set when it was Lorraine Bracco and Leonardo when she kicked him out of the house when he was so desperate to go inside?
Oh, I was standing right next to him. He was like, wrestle with me because he wanted to get out of breath. So we would wrestle, but like for 3 minutes before they yelled action. And it was in a building on 6th Street between A and B.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes upstairs and he's, come on, mom, let me in, mom. You got $1? Mom, you got 20. Can I get 200, dollars, mom? Come on, mom. Come on, mom, let me in, mom. And he's him and I before every take. He's like, okay, let's wrestle, and we would play wrestle, and he'd action, and he'd jump right into it. I was right. It was a really emotional scene.
That was an
He
excellent
was
scene.
amazing.
That was an excellent. really felt Lorraine, and at the end, she didn't want to kick him out, but she had to. You know what I mean? It was so good. I was like, damn. I think was there glass
So
on
good.
the floor too? They're
No,
barefoot? Oh no.
no, it was no glass on the floor.
Oh,
No, they
okay.
don't. No,
But yeah, I was.
but that was, and then she called the police on him, and
Mm-hmm.
then he got arrested at the end. Before he goes back into he goes into rehab, he goes into jail, starts doing his poetry again. I mean, it's a true story.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
lot of
so
it's not so true, but Jim was like that. Jim was an amazing artist. Jim had a great rock and roll band. I toured with Jim. When with Patti Smith, he was rock. I mean, he was from up there. He was from he was from the Heights. He lived on 207th or 210th in Isham, right by the park over there.
mhm.
And that was his neighborhood. He played basketball. They were crazy. They robbed people to make money to get high. That was Jim Carroll.
So now Jim, he actually died in 2009, right?
Yeah,
9/11,
Jim died. Yeah, he had cancer, I think. Yeah,
and he was clean. Was he clean
I
since?
think so. I don't want to say anything. I don't know for sure.
Right.
He was in the movie when he came on set. He was really, really calm. He was really like he didn't try to really get in people's faces. He didn't try to. I mean, he was such an artist, but he understood what it meant to let the other artists do their work and you can't interfere unless you're going to be the artist, unless you're going to direct it. He didn't direct it, he didn't write it. They had another writer. He had his only thing he had to do. He sold the book. He sold the rights to the book.
Was he on
That's
set?
it. He was on set a couple of days. He was in one scene. He's in a scene when they're all downstairs in the shooting gallery. He's sitting on the couch,
Oh yeah, I
acting like
remember
a
that.
dope thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was that. That was the only. He would come once in a while, but he was really cool. He wasn't, he was never like try to be overpowering. You got to really, it's a fine line you walk there when you're on set and there's another director. Even if it is your story, even if it is your, based on your writings, you still got to be like, respect
Right.
their creativity.
Where did the shooting at the high school or the school? Where was that?
The shooting of the high school was on First Street.
Okay.
Between First and this is, I've forgotten. It wasn't PS1. Maybe it was PS1. PS2. On First or Second Street, between First and Second Avenue, there's a school right there. We did all that over there. Everything was shot on the Lower East Side, with one scene up in the Bronx. The scene in the when they shoot the candy store, when Jimmy Mattios goes crazy and gets busted.
Yeah.
That was actually in Jersey. Uh, Most of everything else was on the Lower East Side. Everything was on the
It
Lower East Side.
it was well shot. I mean, I really felt like, wow, this is New York City,
Yeah, it
90s.
was really done really well. The lighting was great. The DP was great. Dave, can't remember his name. Dave was an amazing DP. Uh, they really, for the money they had, they really worked hard. I always thought the movie should have done a lot better, but I don't know if it's because of press.
Right.
I don't know, how things, works out like that, but it just didn't do what they wanted it to do. It wasn't a moneymaker, I think. It might have made $20 million total.
So Eric, so then what happened after the movie was over? What did Mark Wahlberg tell you? What did he ask you? What happened?
He was like, Mark was, I really, just to say a little bit, he was like, he was still in between, his being, a musician and an actor. And he said, asked me what I thought about him as an actor. And I said, I think you're going to be one of the best actors ever one day. And, here he is, over 50 movies later, 30 years later, still doing it. So
So
I
he
guess it
asked
was
you to
good
be
to
his right hand man, or like part of his
Yeah,
team.
he asked me if because I had, experience as a roadie and as a road manager in rock and roll. And it's very similar to taking an actor on the road.
Hmm.
So he asked me if he said, hey, I ain't got too much money. You want to come along for the ride? And I did, you know.
Well, look at you, and you're
And I
still
really
with
can't
him,
talk
right?
much about that though. You have to remember, I have an NDA,
No,
and
no,
I
no, no,
can't
no,
really
that's
talk
true.
about
No,
that.
but I want to know about the entourage. All right, so the
I
real
really,
entourage,
that's another thing. I mean, the real Entourage is nothing like the Entourage on TV. The
not
real
even close.
Entourage is much better, huh?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Holy shit!
I mean, when you do a TV show, you're slaves to the network. The network tells you what they want, and you do it. The network also, they position a producer with you to make sure you give them what they want.
Right.
So that's all I'm going to say about Entourage.
Okay, but listen, I know
One
you
of,
have the NDA with Mark, right? But would you guys talk shit? He's a Red Sox fan and you're a Yankee fan. I mean, like, talk about the friendly side of it.
oh, that was crazy. And then all of a sudden, when the Red Sox won, oh, I never heard. Oh my God! And what was it? '04
Hmm.
when the Red
Yeah,
Sox
yeah. When we choked.
came back down 3-1 and won the playoffs and then won the World Series. I never heard the end of it. I'm still not hearing the end of it. He doesn't care anymore. He said the Red Sox won. I'm happy. You know.
As long as they
Yeah,
got
because
that
I'm
one, right?
still. I'm from the Bronx. He's from Boston. There's always going to be that rivalry. But the way I look at that, it's like, you know what? The Yankees need the Red Sox, and the Red Sox need the Yankees.
Right.
Baseball would be kind of boring. There are other rivalries in baseball, I'm sure, between the Angels and the Dodgers, but I don't think it's that big, or the Angels, or the Dodgers and the Padres, or the Giants and the Dodgers were a big rivalry, I think.
Hmm.
Like, Bjorn Borg and John McEnroe. They were the biggest rivalry in tennis, but they needed each other.
Right.
And it brought so much substance to the game. And that's what I think about the Red Sox and the Yankees. They need each other. And even though the Red Sox were in last place this year, they still fought like hell when it came to playing the Yankees.
Yeah.
When it comes to playing the Yankees, all of a sudden, I mean, this weekend the Orioles became like the Dodgers. They made the Yankees look like they were playing the Dodgers in the
Right.
World Series. They were so good, even though it doesn't matter because they had clinched the playoff already. But still, they didn't give up. They didn't say, no, you know what? We'll just throw Judge a meatball and I'll let him hit a 60-second home. No way. They
Right.
played their asses off and they, with strategy and they
Yeah.
down to the wire.
But Eric, when I met Wahlberg back in 2009, we were shooting the shit about sports, and he said, "You see my Eagles? They're gonna bust your Giants' ass." I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Whatever." And I'm like, "Now, is he Eagles fan or a Patriots fan?"
He's a Patriots fan, but because we did the movie Invincible,
Okay.
he became good friends with all those guys. With Vince Papale,
Yeah.
played for the Eagles.
Yeah, that was a good film, man. I like that. He was a
Yeah,
huge
it's a good film.
underdog.
Yeah, and he did that, so that was a big reason.
Oh,
If
okay.
he'd root for the Eagles, but he's a diehard Patriots fan.
Well, shit,
Diehard.
he's spoiled with the Patriots, right? I mean, with Tom Brady, when Tom Brady was on the team, right? He would probably talk shit. Yeah, you
Absolutely.
see my team.
Right, absolutely.
But you know what you tell him, Eric? At least we're 2-0 against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, baby.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I don't know if we get a chance to be 3-0, but
Right.
I don't know.
No, well, we have
Giants,
no shot.
how are they playing this year? I haven't been paying attention.
Well, you
I
know
don't
what?
pay
The
attention
Giants,
to the baseball season.
they won yesterday. They're 3-1 now, so it's a good start.
And the Jets?
And the Jets actually upset the Steelers. Well, I don't know if the Steelers are good, but they're 2-2, I think. Yeah.
Everyone's saying football right now is different because they didn't have a real preseason. They didn't want people getting hurt.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
really, it's like
Yeah.
the people aren't really great yet. Players aren't really haven't really come into their own where they normally during a normal season they would have because of a great, a proper preseason.
Right. Now,
But I'm not a
here's
big fan.
I can't believe you're not a football fan, man. I'm into football, man. Shit.
Yeah, I was until the Giants just left New York and went to New Jersey.
That's true.
Duh.
Yeah,
What the heck? Why didn't they put them on Randall's Island? Why didn't New York City come out, step up?
Right.
Really? Why didn't they couldn't I mean, at least keep the Giants there.
But the real New York team is
When they couldn't play Yankee Stadium, they played in Connecticut
right.
at the Yale Bowl.
But you know what's
Why
crazy,
couldn't they
Eric?
do that?
The real
Huh?
team is the Buffalo Bills, the real New York team.
Right, that's it.
I'm like,
That's it.
really? That's the real New Yeah, Eddie, they're in Buffalo. That's New York. And I'm like, but that's like 9
But
hours away.
meanwhile they want to keep the name.
Right.
They want to keep it should be New Jersey Giants, New Jersey Jets. They play in New Jersey. I
Well,
wonder, they pay New York City taxes? They pay New York for their whatchamacallit for not using the name? Hell no.
right. But listen,
Really.
Eric, Kevin Conley, did he portray you perfectly or that's not even close?
Kevin's great. I love Kevin.
No, he was a great actor, but I'm just
Kevin,
saying, did he play you
yeah,
well?
Kevin did really good. We hung out a lot before the show started, and Kevin was really great. He was really into it. He kind of observed all certain things about me that he became. He observed when I'm hard ass, when I'm nice, when I'm this, when I'm that. He was really good. Kevin's really good. The guys are all of them are really good.
Oh, they're great
They're
kids.
all
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
You can't say anything bad about their acting because this is what they wanted. This is what was put in front of them. The actor, here's your script, here's your lines. Now become the character and say your lines and do what we want.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
When the producer tells you that, director tells you that, you're not going to go, no, no, no. I want to do it this way. I'm doing it this way. They go, oh, no, no, no. See you later. Next.
Right. Oh, yeah. They're just renting you. They don't want you. There's a million
They just
people that want that part.
There's so many people that want that part. Especially these days, everyone's trying to, make a movie, make a TV show for a budget. They all got a number they got to meet. So it's a lot different now.
But look at your lifestyle. You're traveling everywhere, different countries. Favorite country? Like, what was it?
I love Paris, France. France is really great. I love Switzerland. Lots of different places. I've been, I spent some time in London, in the UK. They're all different. You know what it is? It's different than being here in the U.S. First of all, you can go in anywhere there and you can buy a beautiful Cuban cigar. And for them, I don't know why in this country they're so stupid that they don't have an. I mean, Obama started to open up relations with Cuba. Why did they all of a sudden stop? Again, I was bringing cigars back. I was thinking, wow, we're going to actually be able to buy Cuban cigars in America. And I was like, what the heck? People deserve. They need to work. They need to, they need to do it. And then all of a sudden, it's now you can't do it. But meanwhile, we could buy anything from China. So you got two communist countries, and once we're buying from, we're doing trade with, and one
Right.
we don't do nothing with. Go figure.
I
This
don't get
country's
it.
so ass backwards. I'm like, pfft.
Trust me, Eric. I don't fucking get it either, man. This new generation now. I'm saying to myself, what?
Right,
I just don't get
exactly.
it. I don't get it. I'm in. I know you're a little older than me, but I grew up with both generations. No social media, and now social media. No cell
Right.
phones.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was no more. I'm waiting for the day it all crashes, and you can't even have a cell phone. You know, I mean, what would you do? They have to put up phones again around all over the streets.
Yeah. Oh,
Imagine
remember those 5 cents, the nickel,
nickel, yeah, ten
the
cents for a
quarter.
phone call, 10 to a quarter. I remember last time it was a quarter. And if you were really smart, you knew how to hit the button 10 times, and an operator would come in. You say, "Oh, I'm having a hard time getting this call. Can you connect me to so and so and so and so?" And they did it.
Yeah, yeah. Damn.
Hey, son, when you were a hustler, you learned every trick in the book.
Oh my
I
God,
knew
you're so right
every
about that. I
trick.
remember back
Oh,
then, man. It's like,
right, that's being
and
raised
then
on the
Eric,
street.
what about when you go on the bus and instead of paying the full fee, you just put a nickel in there instead of like 50 cents, right?
Right. You kidding me?
Because
Or you snuck on the back of the bus.
right,
When the bus is crowded, you just went in the back door. The driver didn't see you. The driver didn't give a shit. He
yeah,
wasn't getting paid more or less for it. You know? They didn't care. There was no bus cards. Or you had a bus pass when you were a kid. You had to go buy a bus pass every week for 50 cents to get you back and forth to school, and you used it as much as possible. Or what we do, if a kid didn't have a bus pass, you get in the bus on the first in line,
and you
then you
sneak
give
it back.
right, you put it out the window, he'd come out, boom, 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 go around and round and
Yeah.
round.
It's amazing that how I tell these young kids, if the way we grew up, you would never survive right now. Never.
Never.
These kids
Well,
right now,
maybe they would, but they'd have to really, really change their mindset.
but then an interaction is horrible. The communication skills horrible. But Eric, this is people that during dinner, phone, fucking phone.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. No social skills.
No social
No,
skills.
they're socially inept.
Yeah. And
Kids
then
are socially inept.
and then I say to myself,
Imagine if they didn't have a phone. Imagine they didn't Google. We didn't have no Google.
we have to go to the
I had an
fucking library.
encyclopedia. Right. Had to go to the library on Kingsbridge Avenue on 231st Street, or go to the one by Fordham Road in the Bronx.
Right.
They don't know. But then again, they also never had a hot dog from Gorman's.
Yeah.
They never had you never had the kitchen sink at Jan's in the
Yeah.
Bronx.
Oh yeah.
They never had a lot of things that we had.
Right.
So one thing for sure, we're lucky. We experienced that, and we're getting to experience all this.
Right.
Yeah, I love my phone. I use it all the time. But it makes you lazy too.
It
I
does.
don't have to go to the library. I don't have to look in my encyclopedias. I have a full set. I don't.
Right. Eric, the real Entourage, right? Were people fighting for the parts like, yo, Mark, can I play this part? Come on, I'm perfect for this,
Yeah, but he was really good about. He didn't. He's not that kind of person where he just says you're going to make this person do it. No, everyone had to audition. Everybody had to read for the director. Everybody had to read for Doug. They all had to read for the producers, and they all made a conscious decision together.
Right.
You don't do that.
But any of his friends were like, come on, Mark, I thought we're tight like that. I should be playing
Yeah,
this.
that happens all the time. Can you? I mean, with every actor in the world, I'm sure. They want their friends. Oh, can you put me down? Can you do it? Can I get in? That happens with everything.
Right.
It's really hard these days. It's the actor doesn't have the power. I don't think that they had 20 years ago or 25 years ago. Where put my friend in, put this one in. No, the director's like, no, I'm putting who I want. It's my movie. I'm the one who raised the money. I'm the one who this. No, the producers go, no, they don't fit the part. They ain't getting it. That's it.
Out of those four actors, well, five plus Jeremy Piven, who would you say was the closest to their character of the real Entourage?
Kevin Dillon was really amazing. Kevin Dillon playing drama was really, really good.
So
Kevin Dillon was,
he was the
really, really.
closest. He was the closest to the real guy.
Yeah, Kevin was really, to me, was the closest. Yeah. I mean, I can't say, I don't want to say Kevin Connolly because he was, but to really think about it, Kevin Dillon was really amazing.
Now, I heard about the real guy, the real drama. Is he like
Johnny Drama?
He's all into fitness. He's all into eating right. Is that him?
That's really him. All the fitness, eating right, playing golf, everything. Yeah.
So all the guys. Well, one passed away, right? Turtle's character.
Yeah, Donkey, may rest in peace. Yeah.
So he passed away, but the other three are still living, right?
Yeah, everybody's still alive. Yeah.
Wow, God bless.
Yeah.
So you listen.
What about you, Eddie? You doing everything. Does anyone ever ask you about you?
About me? Well, I'm the one that's listening and doing the interviews, but if you want to ask me questions, go ahead. Be my guest.
Well, I mean, you've been in the business for a while. Baseball is your thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I met you, you were a hitting instructor.
Yeah.
You were teaching kids how to play baseball, and you were showing them, and you had some success,
Yeah, so the thing is, Eric, back then, actors in LA, when we moved to LA, the first job they want to do is what? To pay the bills is either bartend or wait tables. I get that part, but I said to myself, no, I'm going to go to the Little League Park. Had no clue about West LA. Nothing. Cheviot Hills, West LA Little League Palisades. My name was spreading like snow. It was like, whoa, holy shit. Who is this guy? My son's hitting home runs now. So I would have 5 kids a day. I would audition in the morning, afternoon. And then right after, you go to the park. I would put out flyers. And back then, I would have a camera. I would film their swing, and it breaks it down to 60 frames in a second. And that's where I met Ari Emmanuel for the first time. And then I met John Fogelman from, he was with William Morris, but then, they merged. But then Fogelman, his son, he was one eye blind, and he says, listen, you really could teach my kid. I'm like, listen, it's going to take time. I'm telling you right now. Oh, shit, Eric, you're dead. Yeah, I told him, I was like, it's going to take time, but he's going to make contact. And all of a sudden, he's starting to kill the baseball, right? And John's loving it, him and his wife. And then I saw Ari, and I'm like, well, listen, Ari, look at Fogelman's kid. He's hitting the ball very far. I think your kid needs a lesson with me. He's laughing because he likes that pitch. You know what I mean? People are scared of him. The real Ari Emmanuel, he has a strong presence.
Yeah, Ari's a character.
Very strong presence.
I love Ari.
But I came up to him because I had the audacity. I had the balls. I was like, fuck that. He's a human just like me. I'm going to approach him in a charming way. So I said, listen, Ari, Fogelman's kid's hitting the baseball far. What's up with your kid? He's like, well, I put too much pressure. I'm like, exactly. You put pressure. I'm going to teach him how to hit bombs. He goes, wow, you're good. You're good. He's like, all right, give me your phone number. I'll put you in my cell phone. But that's it. I never heard from him ever again because he's very tough on his kid back then. His wife at the time, great woman. I met the family and all that.
Sarah was his wife then.
But then my best highlight, Eric, this was the best moment. I'm in the Yankee jacket, Barry Bonds comes up because his daughter plays at West LA Little League softball.
Wow.
So Barry Bonds comes up to me and he gives me an urban hug. He thought I was one of the dads, but I wasn't, right? So I'm like, yo, listen, you look familiar, man. He's like, oh, yeah? I'm like, oh, shit. You're the guy from Arizona State that hit bombs. And he's looking at me. He's like, you fucking New Yorkers know how to fuck with people, don't you? I'm like, come on, Barry. That was good, right? You know what? That was excellent. Sit down. We talk 2 hours about hitting.
Wow.
Eric, just on the Little League bleacher, me and him shooting the shit. And then the following year, $1 Million Arm premiere, I saw him. I was like, yo, Barry. He's like, yo, Eddie Mata, what's up? I'm like, you knew my name? He goes, man, that approach you did to me, nobody ever did that. No one except you. Wow. So, yeah, I remember you. I was like, wow.
So, do you ever see him again?
No, after that, that's it. After
And you don't know how to contact him? You can't get him to talk?
I wish, man. I have his cell number. I emailed him. I was like, Barry, listen, man, just come on, let's shoot this shit. I got this video podcast. He didn't answer. I get it. I'm not gonna talk about the shit that allegations against him.
Right.
I just want to talk about,
Right.
It's crazy.
Baseball.
Yeah, it's baseball. So,
He was a great ball player,
oh, God, legend.
His father was an amazing Yankee.
Yeah.
Forget about it,
Yeah. So
I love his father,
Yeah. And with Barry Bonds, I asked him, I said, hey, Barry, are you the type of hitter that you look for pitches in the zone? I mean, like if you look for a fastball or off speed. And he goes, no. He says, I draw a circle. And if that ball's in that circle, it's going to the seats. So he didn't care if whether it be a changeup, slider, or fastball. No. If it's in that circle, he's killing it. But then I told him, but I said, Barry, but you had a tight zone. He's like, didn't I earn it? I'm like, yeah, you're right. But listen, to me, with these stars, I just make them laugh and be human, man. There's no like, oh my God, I'm a fan of your work. No, I just want the classic stories. Tell me the fucking stories,
Tell you the story.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, and he told me,
Yeah.
I said, who was the toughest lefty? Was it Randy Johnson? He's like, no, he was easy. Norm Charlton? No, he was easy. He said the toughest lefties were John Candelaria and Jesse Orosco. Those motherfuckers.
Orosco?
Yeah.
Wow.
He said he'll see the pitch from the dugout and just sliding in, curveball, whatever, just going. And I said, how would you hit that? He's like, if I was out in front, it's a wrap. It's a weak ground ball. I had to let the ball get deep and hit him to left field. Otherwise, he's going to get me out. I'm going to be playing pepper with the first baseman, second baseman.
Wow. Yeah. But he never played against Louisiana Lightning, Guidry.
No, he didn't. But the story when he hit that home run in Yankee Stadium, I said, yo, Barry, man, you hit that shit to New Jersey. What happened? He's like, oh, I'll tell you a great story. He says, Ted Lilly, before the game, was talking shit to me in a friendly way. He's like, Barry, I'm going to throw that slider, and I'm going to make you chase. You'll see. He's like, yeah, all right. He says he left that pitch up in the zone, and then booyah. Did you see that shot? Did you remember that Yankee Stadium in 07?
I don't remember it now, but I can think about it. I can't remember it, but I know what you're talking about.
If you YouTube it, you're going to be like, holy shit. It was a bomb, Eric. It was like a Mickey Mantle shot.
What year was that?
07.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll look. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out. They say he's trying to get Aaron Judge to come to the Giants.
Well, he is a Northern California
They said he's the
kid.
one been trying to get. Yeah, he's trying to, Aaron Judge is from California.
Right.
He said he's going to try and get the Giants.
What did you see
that? A lot of money.
Did you see that K-Rod on ESPN2 that when Alex Rodriguez and Michael
I didn't see it. I didn't listen to it. No, I didn't listen to it.
No,
I heard about it, but I didn't listen to it.
But he was close to signing with the Yankees. I don't know if you heard about that.
Who are
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds?
Yeah, so Barry Bonds.
I never heard about that.
Yeah, so he said it in the interview. He said that, the Yankees called me, and they said, look, we'll get back to you around 2 hours. So he went for lunch, but then San Francisco called him and said, listen, here's the contract. He's like, all right, I'm staying with San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he wanted to stay home. He wanted to stay in Cali. He said, this is my home. This is where he grew up. So he's staying. So that's the story of Barry Bonds. But
wow.
Yeah.
Bonds, and his father was amazing. His dad was such a ball player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, his dad was like, amazing outfield, amazing arm. That's one question I would like to ask. If I meet a professional ball player, I always like to say, who had the best arm? Because in the beginning of the game, how you watch the warm-ups, and right before they go on the field, the guys come out of the dugout and they have a catch. And I've watched A-Rod stand behind home plate and throw to some guy who's standing at the wall in right field.
Yeah.
And just like flick their wrist, and all of a sudden they're throwing the ball 300 feet. And back just like having a regular catch. I've seen him do it. I've seen Jeter do it. I've seen lots of ball players just, throwing I'm like, oh my God, how do they do it,
So easy, right?
Like nothing. And then I say, why didn't A-Rod, instead of playing third base, why didn't he go to the outfield? Has legs, has the arm, has a. Why did he even decide to play third base? Why didn't he become a left fielder? Why didn't he become a right fielder? I never understood that.
Well, the thing
Why
is,
he would.
when you're a super athletic, you're a shortstop or a center fielder.
Right.
Super athletic, it's hard to find good shortstop because a lot of guys that got drafted.
Yeah, but they had Jeter. So when he comes to the Yankees, they want him. Okay, you got Jeter and you got A-Rod. So Jeter's like, I'm not moving.
No.
I'm
It
a
wasn't that
shortstop.
Jeter said he's not moving. I don't know if you watched the documentary. Did you watch the Jeter documentary?
I haven't watched it. I'm going to watch it.
You'll love this documentary, by the way, by a young
So what was
director
it?
named Randy Wilkins. It's really good. It tells a story. What happened was Jeter was a little insecure. There was one game in 04. It was a rainy day in Chicago. You know, they stopped the game for a little bit, and it's just Jeter and A-Rod. And Jeter asked him straight up, why are you here? Because Jeter knows he's better by numbers. Of course, he knows, right? And then A-Rod told him straight up, if they told me we want you as a shortstop for the New York Yankees, I would decline that, and I would stay in Texas. But the fact that they said, hey, you're going to be playing third base for the Yankees, here's the opportunity. And that's when he signed. He said, that's the reason why I did it, Jeter. Just like that. It wasn't because
Really?
I want to steal shortstop from you. You'll see the
He
documentary.
wanted to play third base?
Yeah. He said if the Yankees said, we want you as a shortstop, he would decline that offer, A-Rod said.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about they never thought about him being an outfielder, huh?
No, because you know what is, Eric? It's hard to find a good-ass defensive third baseman and shortstop that hits for power and, you know, consistently hits. It's really hard to find that. You know, because when we were growing up, shortstops weren't hitting home runs. You remember that? They were like 260 hitters with 3-4 home runs, but they made the plays.
They had hands, though.
Yeah. And nowadays, shortstops, they could put up numbers.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
And most of the time, the balls are hit to the left side on the ground, right? So you got third base or shortstop. You don't really see a first baseman make plays. I mean, on the bunt, but they have to scoop and all that. But I'm talking about live play. It's always mostly on the left side because there's more right-handed hitters in the big league.
But he was no Greg Nettles.
No, but he had a fucking cannon. I mean, we'll give A-Rod. He had a cannon.
Saying. He had a cannon. He could throw somebody out from center field on a fly.
Yeah.
That's why I always wondered why they didn't put him out there. I mean, he had a gun like Jesse Barfield had a gun. You know, there were some ball players I watched when someone even would try to tag up from third, they wouldn't move.
But
you know, when the guy caught that.
Did you watch Clemente play? Did he have a really?
No,
strong
I didn't see Clemente. I was young.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of young. You know, I knew who he was, but he played for Pittsburgh.
Right.
So you didn't really, you didn't watch. I watched every Yankee game. Channel 11 as a kid, every single. You couldn't get me from the first day they put on the preseason games till I was watching every Yankee game. You know, the first time I went to Yankee Stadium, I was 5 years old, 1959. I saw Maris, I saw Mantle, I saw Tresh, I saw Pepitone, Kubek, Bobby Richardson, Clete Boyer. You know, first pitcher I ever saw pitch was Al Downing. You know.
Wow.
Right. You know, I've been a Yankee fan, for a long time, over 60 years, 65 or 64 years.
Eric, where were you when Roger Maris hit his 61st?
I was in the schoolyard. It was just Sunday. It was 61 years. I was in my schoolyard in PS7 in the Bronx. We were playing stickball, and we had a transistor radio. Everyone used to have a transistor radio, had a 9-volt battery, and listening to the game. And Phil Rizzuto was calling it. Phil Rizzuto called the home run. It was Phil Rizzuto and Mel Allen, I think, back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I heard that. We all went crazy. We went nuts.
But you know what, Eric, you're the only person that I know that would, you saw Roger Maris. You didn't see it in person, but, you were living.
I saw him play in person, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him play when I went to Yankee Stadium when I was 5.
And then
after that, I went every year.
And then you see Aaron Judge hit his 61st. How awesome is that?
That's so awesome. And couldn't happen to a better guy. Maris was like one of those guys too, It seems like he was, at least in in the film 61. He seemed like he was that kind of guy, kind of humble.
Right.
He wasn't like an asshole. He wasn't. He was a really good, nice guy, good teammate.
Hmm.
And that's what judges. And it's funny how it happened. It's happening 61 years later.
Yeah.
What a record for six. I don't care. I mean, in the American League, National League, Bonds, McGuire, Sosa, whatever. You know, I mean, I heard Maris's kid, Roger Maris Jr., was blasted MLB, for the whole steroid thing and this and that and this and that. And it's like if they accept that for their home run, I think A-Rod should be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I think Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame then, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen,
So,
I always defend Bonds because I say to myself, listen, the, whatever they say that he did at the time, before the steroid era, he had 400 home runs and 400 stolen bases. That's a guarantee Hall of Fame.
guaranteed Hall of Famer. Absolutely.
So
And no matter what, I don't care. Steroids might make you stronger, but you still got to hit that ball coming at you 100 miles, 98 miles an hour, 95 miles an hour. I don't care. I could take steroids all day, and I'm not going to hit that 98 mile an hour fastball.
but no, Eric, you know why they took it? They took it because it was recovery. And I'll tell you why. You're 30 years old now. Your legs are sore. When you take that, the next day, your legs feel like they're 20 now.
Wow.
You got energy. You're like, I don't feel no aches. I don't feel none of that. So it feels good. And then you have power in your mind. You're like, yeah, I feel good. Hitting, let me tell you something. And I played college ball. I was a career 400 hitter. Had a scholarship down in Florida, Palm Beach Atlantic University. Hitting is all feeling. That's all it is. When you feel good, you feel like you could hit anybody. But when you feel like shit, a little leaguer could get you out.
Wow.
You asked Sean Green. I interviewed one of the best hitters, Sean Green. I had
He was a
Brett
great hitter.
Boone. Yeah. I had Sean Casey. I had guys, and they agree. In Major League Baseball, when you're in the big leagues, it has nothing to do with mechanics. Well, you got to do this. No, man. You're extremely talented. You're here. Now, you got to learn how to adjust when that guy's throwing you a nasty slider on the paint. Can you lay off pitches that look like strikes? Because, Eric, when you see guys fishing, it looks like a fucking strike, but it's a ball.
It's a ball.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why? How come no players adjust their stand at the plate? I don't understand why. You're watching this pitcher. He's throwing. Hitting the outside corner. You're a righty. He's hitting the corners, and you can't hit him. You can't reach him. Why don't they ever adjust their stands? Move in, move out, turn a leg to the right, turn to the left. I don't understand that.
Well, the adjustment it's not the mechanics. It's the adjustment of, like, can you trust your hands? Can you let the ball get a little deeper in the zone? Meaning, like a boxer, Eric, watch. If I'm reaching for you and I'm fully extended, I can't really hit you this way. I'm not going to get power. But you see the L in boxing? Hold on, let me get up. See the L right here? It's the same thing in hitting. Once you see the L on contact, that's where the power is generated, that L. For instance, hey, I'll give you an example. You can see me right here by myself. The L is right here.
Right.
See this L right here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At contact, you want to be like this. But if you're at contact like this, you're done. You're going to reach for the pitch.
Oh.
It's the same thing in
That's the
boxing.
difference between baseball and golf, right?
Yeah. It's like you want to be at that L right here. That L, that 90 degrees, that's at contact. But if you're out here, you're way out in front.
You're out in front of the ball then. Right?
You're out in front.
Wow.
And same thing in boxing. You can't punch a guy like this, fully extended. You can't. You got that L, and then you extend at the end. Same thing in...
Right. Use the body to propel the L.
And also in boxing and in hitting, it's the same thing. The weight is kind of back when they punch. If you look at their legs, because I know you're a huge fan of boxing, their weight is on their back foot most of the time. They'll never lunge. If they lunge, they're going to get fucking killed.
They're going to get killed. Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So...
Eddie, you should be a coach. Eddie, I don't know what you're doing.
No.
I don't know why you can't get one of these teams to hire you.
Nah,
Go
man.
work in the start out the minor league system.
Eric, I went to the Conservatory Acting School at 40 years old because my great friend, and you know him, Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace.
Oh, yeah. May he rest
You
in
know,
peace.
he was my next door neighbor, and I told him one day, because we would talk every day, man, and I would ask him, I said, Chadwick, man, how are you this transformable? What does it take? He says, you have to go to a conservatory acting school, either New York City or London. LA is fucking garbage when it comes to educating and training. No. And I said, damn. I was like, I got to give up my place. He's like, just Airbnb. I'll take care of it. And I'm like, you serious? He's like, yeah, just, let me know what's going on, this and that. And it's because of him I went. And that changed my life, because then I said to myself, wow, I learned so much. I did the Meisner technique, and I love it. And when I played Thurman Munson, his wife saw it, and she goes, you were him. His voice and speech, his physicality. You didn't see Eddie Mata, the charismatic, guy that everybody loves. You really saw, and that.
So you're a real thespian then.
Yeah, and I learned a lot, and that's why now I'm just auditioning and getting this close, and then damn it, they went with the star. Getting this close, oh fuck, they went with this.
That's all right. Damn. You'll have your day.
Yeah,
you're gonna have your day. As long as you don't give up, you have your day.
Yeah,
that's just a great motto of life. You never give up,
Right, and that's what I do. It's like, look, I made great money in LA with commercials and voiceovers. I did that. I bought 3 homes in New York. While I was making money, I was investing. I wasn't trying to be, that entourage lifestyle. Oh yeah, get a new car, fuck that, man. You kidding me? That's all false.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
That and $2.75 will get you on the subway.
Exactly. So I did that, and life's great now. But Eric, when you just still fighting for what you love to do, and look, I tell people, just because they didn't select you as the actor doesn't mean you're bad. It means, I go like this: if you pick Prada over Gucci, does that make Prada bad? No, it's still a good shoe.
Exactly.
You just didn't fit the role.
Exactly. Perfect. That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
You're
doing.
Right. Good.
I invested in a coffee shop in the Chelsea area. It's opening up November, so make sure you stop by.
What kind of, was it organic, good coffee?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is one of my business partners. It took us 2 years, but he has 2 other ones. So
didn't Jimmy Butler do that too? Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler.
Plays for the
the Heat?
Miami?
Yeah, I don't know.
Some kind of coffee, but coffee is so expensive.
$6-7 an average, but people buy it.
Yeah, I know.
People buy
coffee's
it.
Now, there's all articles coming out where coffee's good for your health, good for your heart, good for this, good for that. I've been losing weight. I've been doing the intermittent fasting.
What time do you start? 1 p.m.?
No, I start I stop eating at 6, and then I won't eat again till noon.
Oh, so you go 12 to 6?
Hours.
But that's not 8 hours.
Yeah, 18 hours. 6 o'clock at night. I have dinner at like 5:15. I stop eating at 6. Just drink water from then till 12 o'clock noon the next day.
Okay.
And it's good. I've been doing really good on it. Really, really good on it. I'm happy, and my wife, she's like so supportive. She's so great. I love my wife, Shemaya. We have a great relationship. We've been together almost 11 years now, married just over 3 years. And she's so helpful and so good. It's good to have a partner, for all these years in my life, because I was on the road. I was a roadie. I was a road manager. I was doing movies. I was on here. I was there. I never bothered to think about me and settling down. When I finally did, I found a woman who wanted me so badly and knew and wanted everything about me. It's been the best thing. She's really supportive. She cooks for me. She makes me really clean food, eat a lot of fish, a lot of farro, not too much carbs, and she makes sure that I stay really healthy,
Eric, where'd you meet her?
I met her in New York. I was going for my passport at this office on 30th Street they had the rush passport. I needed a passport in 2 days, because I was going to Europe. I had a passport, it had expired, and I needed a passport really quick because I had to go to Europe all of a sudden. We were going to do something over there, whatever. I went to this guy. He goes, hey, there's a girl next door. He knew who I was. He knew about Entourage, this and that. this woman next door. She's doing a film. She's she's trying to get it to Cannes. So would you like to meet her? I met her. I was like, oh shit. I love dark woman. I love beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She had everything I loved. Immediately, and when you look at a woman, and she was doing this, and then she showed me her film, and I said, "Oh, that film ain't going nowhere." And she was so mad at me. I said, "You ain't taking that to Cannes. That wouldn't get past, the first round, And so she was really mad. But I called her and I went out with her. I took her out, and here we are. Here we are, 11 years later. So, but she's great. I love her. She's, it's funny. I'm Jewish. She's Muslim. But she converted. She wanted to be a Jewish woman. I helped her convert. She went through all the process and did really great. And we go to synagogue together. And we take care of holidays together. And tomorrow is Yom Kippur, a very religious holiday for the Jews. And she's really, really amazing, and I love her to death.
And you could have had a lot of females in the past, and you.
Yeah, I was a player.
You weren't a
That's how
player.
I
You
thought.
were a lover. You just didn't lead them on.
I love her
Look,
exactly.
you know my
I
lifestyle.
wanted to love them all.
Right. You
Right,
know
that
my
was the
lifestyle. I can't settle
Right.
with you, but if you want to have fun, be my guest.
Exactly. That's what it was. No, she's really amazing, and I'm really lucky, and I'm really glad that I'm older, and it's good to have somebody great with you by your side who's younger. She keeps me young, keeps me on my feet, keeps me moving, keeps me doing this and that. Doesn't let me get complacent, and really, really, really is great.
Well, listen, I'm
You know,
glad you have a good woman by your side. I mean, you deserved it. You went through a lot. I mean, holy shit. Listen, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm surprised you're not dead. All the drugs you took in the past.
God had a plan for me.
Right.
Has a plan, still has a plan for me, and I'm not finished yet, Eddie. I'm not done. I still got to, I still wanted. There's still a lot more I want to accomplish, and I'm going to accomplish. Uh, that's it. I'm here for a reason. Both my parents died so young, when I was so young. So I guess I got their years that they didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is, I'm not giving up, and I'm not stopping, and I don't feel my age. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel like. I know I don't look it. And I always think about when people that were older when I was young, you could tell they were older because they dressed older. I don't dress older. I dress like I'm 20 years old.
So Eric, you representing in LA right now with that Yankee T-shirt and all that. Like, do people be like, "Hey, yo, Yankees"?
Nah, they don't care here.
They don't
It ain't
give a
like being in
shit.
Boston. They don't give a shit here.
Right.
They
Yeah.
don't care. They love it. Everyone wants to see the Dodgers and the Yankees in the World
Oh my
Series.
God, that'll be great.
And the Dodgers won the most games ever in the history of the Dodgers. Now what do they have, 107 wins?
No, they're at 110 now.
They're at 110
But
now.
they lost yesterday, so they can't tie the Yankees record.
What's the record? 112?
No, 114.
The Yankees won 114 one year, right?
Yeah, the 98. Remember
What
98?
year was that? Was that 90 what?
1998.
Oh, that was with Torrey?
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Torre,
98
right?
Torrey. Jeter's third year in the big leagues.
Wow.
And you know what?
Wow.
That year, let me tell you something, Eric. Not one guy hit over 30 home runs.
Nobody?
Nobody hit over 30, but their batting average, shit, they were 290 plus.
Right. They had how many guys hitting over 300?
A lot.
Like
Even
6
Brocious.
guys.
Brocious was hitting 300.
Roach. Oh, he was amazing.
Right.
What a great third baseman, too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The Yankees were great then. No, absolutely.
Brocious told
Absolutely
me
great.
a classic story, that 98 year. So Ken Griffey Jr. was up, and the pop-up, this is how it works on that side. Third base and shortstop side, when there's a pop-up, if Jeter calls you off, it's his. That's it, right?
Right.
So Ken Griffey hits a pop-up. Brocious fucking drops it. Yankee fans are booing the shit out of him, right? And then there's times there'll be a pop-up to like the third baseman, and then he'll be like, I got it. And then Jeter last minute, I got it. And right in front of him, he just catches it for like 3 weeks, right? So then after 3 weeks, there's another pop-up, and Brocious is like, I got it. And he don't hear Jeter calling it. He's like, oh shit, he's giving me an opportunity to catch it? Okay. And then next thing you know, the last second before he catches it, Jeter's right there, screaming at him, and he catches like, what the fuck? I just tested you to make sure you're focusing. So
That's amazing.
Stories
That's
like
amazing.
that, people don't know.
They don't know that, you know?
Yeah.
They don't know what it's like. These guys are on the road together, for 7 months out of the year.
Yeah.
They're really like, you better like each other. You better learn to like each other. You better learn to talk to each other. And you better learn to work out your differences with each other,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's your teammates. And
Eric.
that's what I love about the Yankees. When I see these new guys coming, the new kids, and it seems like they treat them like they've been in the clubhouse for the last 5 years with them.
But Eric, I'll tell you the story about Aaron Judge's mom the other night. You see that picture
I
of her
saw
and I?
that picture. That was great.
This is what happened. So I was like, "Hey, Mrs. Judge, how are you? Oh my God, it's an honor to see you." She's like, "So listen, I'll be right back." I was like, "Okay." Comes back after 2 minutes. We're in the Delta Club. And I said, "Fresno State, huh?" And she just goes, "What do you know about Fresno State?" I'm like, "Listen, I have a great story. Your son's not going to be up within the next 20 minutes. So I'll tell you if you want." She's like, "Yeah, tell me. So I said, I had a show back then called Where Are They Now in Sports. I interviewed this guy named Adam Kennedy. But before the interview, I wanted to talk to his college baseball coach. And at the time, Adam Kennedy's college coach, he was at Cal State Northridge when he coached Adam Kennedy. But then when I talked to him in 2013, the summer, he's at Fresno State. So I said, "Hey, give me some stories about, when you coach Kennedy. He's tell me all the stories." And then before we hung up the phone, he's like, "Hey, Eddie, you're a Yankee fan, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He told me, "There's this kid. He's 6'7", 250. The Yankees drafted him in the first round." And I was like, "Yeah, what's his name?" His name is Aaron Judge. Just watch out for him. I'm like, "Well, how many home runs did he hit at Fresno State?" He goes like 12. I'm like, 6'7", that's it? He's like, "Just trust me. He's going to hit bombs for you guys. Just look out for that name." When I told her that story, she almost had tears.
Wow.
Now, if you think about it, Eric, every Yankee fan will talk about now. "Oh my God, your son's 61. But don't forget where you came from. How did it start? You in Lenox Ave, you know what I mean? Where did it start? I'm sure, Eric, everybody come up to you, "Oh, really? Entourage. But then if someone told you, "Hey, man, you grew up in UCLA in New York," you'll be talking to that guy, right? Think about it.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
I'm waiting for this kid, the Martian, to come up. The kid
yeah.
they call the Martian.
Who's that?
And his name is from Dominican Republic. His name is
He looks like Mickey Mantle already, right?
he's a switch hitting center fielder with
Yes.
an amazing arm and lots of power. Oh, I can't believe I'm not remembering his
No,
name.
I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name too, but I know. Yeah.
I can't wait for this kid to come up.
Yeah.
The Yankees gave him $5 million when he was 18 as a signing bonus.
Yeah.
He's like, I was in Dominican Republic when he was playing there. I didn't get to see him, and I stayed at the hotel where I was in the room where they shot Godfather 2, and the scene on the balcony where Maya Lansky, it was not
Yeah.
Maya Lansky, goes around. Here's a cake. Everyone show the cake to everybody, and at my demise, Michael here will take over the families, and he'll be in charge. And that was an amazing scene. And I stayed in that room, and I sat on that balcony every night and had a cigar.
Holy
And
shit.
they owned a team called the Escondidos in Dominican Republic, a minor league team, where I think even Sanchez might have played for them, and a few other guys played for them. The hotel was amazing. It's called El Ecuador, the not Ecuador, El Ambassador Hotel in Santo Domingo. If you ever get to go to the Ambassador, they have pictures of all the Godfather's 2 scenes up
Oh
there. It's
shit.
amazing. That's really, really, really cool.
Eric.
Yeah, certainly know what you say, Eddie. The beginning. If someone comes to me and even tells me they're from New York, they're from the Bronx, and they're Yankee fans, all right, I'm in. What do you want to talk about?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
I don't this the entourage, the whole working in the film business. It's okay. It worked for me. It gave me a living. I made good money. I traveled. I saw people. I did things that I probably would have never had the chance to do. But like you say, there had to be a foundation for me to want. You have to have that desire to open the door, to walk through it, and to be able to not have no fear of when you get there, what are you going to do?
Right.
Not act like a mook and not be a mamaloke
Yeah.
and be really trying to be really cool about the whole thing, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it's about. Your foundation is everything.
Exactly.
You know, the streets of the Bronx, that
Mm-hmm.
was everything for me, you know?
Yeah.
That was it. You know, being able to, walk from 234th Street to 181st Street, get on a bus and go to Palisades Park, go to the amusement park, do this, do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. That's
Right.
just what we did,
And Eric, when I was a kid, when I would go to Yankee games, you know how I would get baseballs? I knew where were they from. Like for instance, Paul O'Neill, right? During batting practice, I'll be in the right field, like, yo, Paul, the Columbus kid. He looks at me and throws a baseball. Mattingly, yo, Indiana, Evansville, baby. Here you go, son. You know what I mean? Like that's how I got them.
Mattingly, I met Mattingly a couple times. He was the nicest, amazing person. I really wish he was managing the Yankees. I don't know, where is he going to go? Miami let him go, right?
Yeah, I was there last week at the stadium.
I saw that. And then they let him go the next day.
Yeah, I'm like,
What'd you
oh
do, Eddie?
shit. I'm like, did I jinx him?
What'd you do?
I know, man.
What did you do?
I was
You
like, yo,
know?
Donnie. But it was great because I was, I'm tight with Stephen Bauer, the actor from Scarface. So,
Yeah.
Jeff Nelson, he announces for the Marlins
No,
for
Jeff, yeah.
40 games. So he's like, Eddie, if you want to come down to Miami when you're in town, I got you. I was like, but on the field, Jeff. He's like, yeah, I got you. So Joe Girardi was there. Ryan Dempster was there.
Wow.
Jorge Soler, the one that was the World Series MVP last year.
Didn't Girardi get fired too from the Phillies?
Yeah, in the beginning of the year. But Girardi is play-by-play for the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, I didn't know he was doing play-by-play.
Yeah,
Okay.
either radio, TV. Because I told him, I was like, yo, Joe, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm a play-by-play. Like I was fucking with him. You know what I mean? I was like, what are you doing here? So
Wow.
him and Dempster.
He was a good catcher, though.
Huh?
He was a good catcher, right?
Knowledge. He's very smart. Very smart.
Very smart. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Catches
I didn't know he was doing that now, though. I didn't know he was doing play-by-play
Yeah.
for Chicago.
Yeah, and then Marcus Timms, he's the Marlins batting coach, and he was my coach at Yankees fantasy camp. See, Eric, you have to do that before.
That's something I would love to do.
Listen, you don't have to be a good ball player. The experience is amazing. Yeah. Eric, you're in the big leagues for a week. You're in the sauna. They're massaging you. Then you go to the park. Oh. You're in the big leagues, brother.
I'd have to train for a year before I go to do that.
Well, listen, if you're in New York, I'll train your ass.
And embarrassing myself and not hitting the ball.
They're throwing BP.
I was a ball player when I was a kid for sure.
But then
now I play golf.
Oh, okay. What's your handicap?
High.
High? What, 20?
Yeah, maybe like 25, 26.
All right, so you could disclose this. Is Wahlberg a good golfer?
Yes.
Okay, so he's an athlete.
Yes.
Okay.
He's a great athlete, ball player, football player. He's got an arm, an incredible arm.
And does he discipline himself as far as working out and eating right and all that, right?
Oh my God. He's like, you would think it's his second nature.
And he's close to 50
He's the
yet?
most disciplined person I know, huh?
Is he close to 50 or is he 50 years old?
No, he's 51.
Holy shit.
He was born in 71.
Good for him, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He works his ass off.
Eric, if there was a movie about you, which actor would you hire to play you? Since you've been around actors, A-list actors, on set, everything. Who would play Eric Weinstein?
I always thought about that. And you know what my answer is? James Belushi.
Oh, shit, okay.
I always thought if I did a movie about me, whatever, I think he's a little bit old now, but I always thought about James Belushi. Mm-hmm. James Belushi. I used to love John Malkovich, but then I was in being John Malkovich, for Spike Jonze. I do a little acting here once in a while. I like to do my cameos, keep that SAG card going good,
Well, of course, get that health insurance,
So
would you ask Mark and say, hey, Mark, put me in here because I need my SAG?
No.
So it's all business then, right?
All business.
So, but he would offer you, say, hey, you want to, okay.
Right. Or the director would offer me, or, the producer would offer me.
Right.
And I'd say, yeah, for sure. Whatever. Yeah, I'll do anything you want me to do. Anything. You want me to jump off a bridge? You want me to... James Foley, my first role, he put me in a taxi cab. I was in Corruptor. And I got all squibbed up and got blown away, got killed,
Mm-hmm.
He said, do it with your eyes. Don't try to do anything else. Just use your eyes. I love James Foley. He's a great director,
The camera doesn't lie.
Camera doesn't lie.
Do it with your eyes.
You know who James Foley is, right?
No, which one is he?
He directed At Close Range. He directed Fear. He directed
Wait, Fear
Corrupted
is Fear with Mark Wahlberg when he was young with that Silver Spoon? What's her name?
with Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Reese and Alyssa Milano.
So he said it's all
Yeah,
in
that
the
was great.
eyes, right?
All in the eyes.
But
Use
you
your
learned
eyes
so much from acting on set,
so much.
right? That's your best
I
experience.
could. I know I could be if I wanted to really pursue it. I know you get one person, you get an agent or something like that, start sending you out. I know I could do it,
Right,
but
right.
it hasn't been a desire yet. Who
Yes.
knows what the future holds? You know.
All right. So what's the upcoming schedule? You're in LA for how many months?
I'm going to be in LA for a while now. I'm not going to come back to New York till maybe springtime. You know, I'm staying home. I'm working from home. I'm getting into really doing pre-production. I'm getting into I know production like the back of my hand, so I'm putting myself out there. If people need this, need that, whatever as far as production is concerned, there's nothing I can't do. Nothing. As far as you tell me, you give me a budget, I know exactly who to hire, where to hire them, what to do, when to do it. And so I'm really working at doing that while I do handle Mark's production as well. But I want to be home. I'm 68. Being on the road anymore is, I really,
Right.
it's not healthy. It's really not healthy for you. You're out, you're running around, you're eating shit food. You're not sleeping right. You're not taking care of yourself. So I really just want to work from home now. So if I have to go on the road for a week or a couple of days, that's fine. But that's about it.
All right. So Eric, give me the schedule. A movie set on the day of shooting. What are you doing
Day of
exactly?
shooting, you're getting up early in the morning. You're getting ready. You're making sure everybody in the crew, everybody in your whole, production is ready. You're making sure you got your drivers waiting for you. You're making sure when you get to set, the trailer's set up. You're making sure everything's ready from the minute you walked in. There's no hiccups,
Right.
you know? And then you're on set the whole time. You're watching. You're making sure they don't go over. You're making sure if you have a 12-hour door to door, whatever rules, whatever's in your contract, I make sure the contract's being lived up to,
So Eric,
and
so
whatever these are.
you're the guy that organizes everything.
I organize everything from the minute they get the contract to hotels, drivers, cars, transportation, locations, where we're going, timing, everything. Caterers, I make sure the caterers, Mark's caterers, craft service, even if he wants a specific DP, if he wants anything specific, I make sure they get everything he wants.
Oh, holy shit, Eric. That's a tough job, man.
Yeah. And it goes like that from the first day. Usually you start a week before. You do hair and makeup tests. You do camera tests. You might have to do some stunt rehearsals. You might have to do some stuff like that. Whatever. Usually a week or 10 days before the actual first day of shooting, and then you make sure everybody got their call sheets. Everybody knows what they're doing when they're doing it. You know,
Right.
and you got to stay on top of it. You got to stay on top of it from the first day to the last day, and they say you're wrapped.
Right. So
It's a tough
listen.
job. A lot of hours.
Now you and your wife, does your wife live in LA or New York?
No, she's a New Yorker. She's from Queens, but she wanted to be out here. She was the one who got me to move out here. She was tired of the cold weather, tired of, we had a small apartment in Manhattan, and she wanted a little more space. She wanted this, she wanted that.
Right.
And I said, okay, let's go out and check it out. We came out here, we checked it out. I found a great spot, and here we are. She was the one who really encouraged me, and I'm glad. It was a great place to be for the pandemic because you're not on top of everybody.
Right.
Everything was easy. It was a lot safer. Even then, except when the riots started, you really couldn't go out your house when all that stuff. When what's his name got killed, and
Yeah.
that was really kind of hard. But you just stayed home, and you took care of yourself, and that's all you had to do. You weren't out running around. You're not hanging out. Being stupid.
Right. Right.
So it was really kind of worked out. We spent a lot. We were two people that really got a lot closer. I always say in my relationship, we started at the bottom and we're on our way to the top. You know,
And what time did you
truth.
guys? No, I totally agree. What time did you guys wrap up for the day? Like you're there by 5 a.m.
Depends. You
set.
start at 6 in the morning. Depends on what time you call. It's usually every day is at least 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum. Some directors, you work 13, 14 hours. But that's from the minute you get to set to the minute you wrap on set. Then you go home. You got to get ready for the next day. You got to handle your personal business. And in the morning, you got to get up. You got to take care of your little things. Your own, you got to take care of your laundry, take care of your shopping, take care of your food, take care of everything. You got, so it's like you start 2 hours before you stop for call time, and you finish maybe 2 or 3 hours after they wrap. So it's a really long day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, Eric. I mean,
Get used to it.
thank you for the opportunity to interview you. Your story was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really appreciate
One day
it.
it'll be a book.
I
One
can't
day
wait.
I'm going to do a book.
I can't wait for that book.
It'll be a good one.
Make sure you
I'll
sign
tell
it
it
to me,
all.
Eddie fucking Mata, right?
Eddie fucking Mata. EFM. You got it. My boy Eddie,
All right. So
Thank you for having me on. Thank you to everybody, whoever
no,
listens to
they'll
this.
watch it. That's YouTube when I upload it. But listen, don't go anywhere. I'm going to end it right now, but I just need a couple of favors. You're just going to say something, and that's it. All right?
Okay.
That's Eric Weinstein, baby. All right.
Hey, this is Eric Weinstein. I just want to let you know you'll be doing yourself a real injustice if you don't subscribe to Eddie Mata and his YouTube and all his social media platforms. He's a great guy. We had a great interview. We talked about everything from growing up in the Bronx, growing up in New York, to where I'm at today in LA and Beverly Hills, to everything. Eddie has the knowledge, he has the experience, and if you don't subscribe, you're doing yourself an injustice. Trust me. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to Eddie. He's a great guy. He's a great interviewer. He's a real, as we say, a real mensch. Thanks a lot, Eddie. I really appreciate it. It's been great.